The Galactic Council was proud of its creation. For centuries, they had designed and refined what they called the ultimate military test. It was more than just a game. It was a way to measure strength, intelligence, and endurance. It was said that no single species had ever completed it. Many had tried. Many had failed. The test was divided into stages. Each stage was crueler and harder than the last. Armies had been broken inside it. Entire species had abandoned the hope of finishing it. The Council believed the test proved who truly deserved respect in the galaxy. On the day of the new trial, the Council Hall was crowded. Representatives from dozens of alien civilizations sat in high, shining towers, looking down at the arena below. Their voices buzzed with excitement. "Today we shall see another attempt," one counselor hissed, his scaled skin glowing under the lights. "Who are the challengers this time?" asked another with long antennae. The answer came, and the hall filled with laughter. Humans. The word was spoken like a joke. Humans were newcomers to the wider galaxy. They had joined the interstellar community only a few decades ago. They were considered average in strength, small in number, and primitive compared to great empires. Nobody expected them to do well. "This will be amusing," one alien chuckled. "They will not last the first hour," said another confidently. The crowd's laughter echoed as the human team entered the arena. There were only a handful of them, 6 men and women dressed in light combat suits, their flags stitched on their shoulders. They looked around, studying the massive metallic gates that hid the trials within. Unlike other species, they did not bow, they did not tremble, and they did not show fear. Instead, one of them smiled. From the observation deck, the aliens grew confused. "Why do they look calm?" a reptilian general asked. "They must not understand the danger," came the reply. The Grand Arbiter, who presided over the challenge, raised his staff and spoke in a booming voice. "Humans of Earth. Before you lies the greatest military test ever created. It has destroyed the best warriors of the galaxy. It has swallowed armies whole. If you step forward, you may not return alive." The humans looked at each other. Then, their leader, a tall woman with short dark hair, gave a small shrug. "Well," she said, "we skipped breakfast. Let's get this over with." Her voice carried through the arena. The aliens gasped. They thought it was arrogance. They thought it was madness. But to the humans, it was simply confidence. The gates opened with a loud groan. A deep, echoing wind swept across the chamber as the first stage revealed itself. It was called the Labyrinth of Nightmares, a twisting maze filled with traps, illusions, and mechanical predators. Every alien species knew the tales. The fastest completion time ever recorded was 3 weeks. Most did not survive even 2 days. The humans stepped inside. Their boots echoed against the cold floor. The gate slammed shut behind them. From the observation towers, the aliens leaned forward. The test had begun. Inside, the labyrinth shifted its walls. Razor-sharp blades extended from hidden slots. The floor opened into sudden pits of fire. Holographic illusions appeared, terrifying monsters designed to break the mind. The traps were deadly. But the humans did not panic. They moved as a team, speaking quickly and calmly. "Left corridor is safer," one said, pointing at the shadows. "Trip wire ahead," another warned, kneeling to cut it. Within minutes, they were moving like they had trained for this their whole lives. The watching aliens grew restless. Why are they so fast? They should be screaming by now. They act as though they've done this before. And in truth, the humans had not this exact test, but something very similar. On Earth, their soldiers trained in obstacle courses, survival drills, and war games. To them, this labyrinth felt like a challenge, yes, but not an impossible one. When a giant war machine emerged from the shadows, its claws sparking with energy, the aliens cheered. Now we will see the end. The humans did not retreat. They advanced. Flank it, the leader ordered. Two soldiers distracted the machine with quick movements, while another used a simple explosive device. In less than a minute, the machine was nothing but smoke and broken metal. The arena fell silent. The counselors looked at each other in disbelief. It had taken entire alien squads days to bring down one of those machines. The humans had done it almost casually. One alien whispered in fear, what are they?" The humans kept walking, not slowing down, not even tired. They joked with each other as though this was a simple training session. Their voices carried through the speakers. "Think they'll serve lunch after this?" one laughed. "Better be pizza," another replied. The council hall erupted with anger and confusion. How could this species treat the deadliest test in the galaxy as a casual game? The arbiter, who had seen countless trials before, felt something stir inside him. For the first time, he wondered if the council had underestimated these beings. The labyrinth shifted again, preparing its deadliest traps for the next stage. But the humans kept moving forward, unshaken. And high above, the galaxy watched in silence, realizing that something strange, something terrifying was unfolding before their eyes. The first stage had just begun. Yet the humans walked as though they already knew the ending. The labyrinth was alive. Its walls shifted like a living creature, forming endless paths of steel and shadow. Sharp spikes slid out of the floor without warning, while heavy blades swung down from the ceiling with deadly precision. Holograms of nightmarish beasts screamed from the darkness, their glowing eyes designed to frighten the strongest minds. This was the first stage of the ultimate military test, and it was famous for breaking entire armies. Most challengers became lost in the maze for weeks. Some starved. Some went mad. Many never came back. But the humans did not look afraid. They moved as if the maze was just another training ground. The leader, Captain Sarah Hayes, raised her hand and signaled her team to stop. Her voice was calm. "Wall shift incoming. Get ready." Right on cue, the steel corridor rumbled, and the floor beneath them shook violently. The passage split into 3 different tunnels. From above, the alien observers leaned forward, watching with greedy eyes. "This is it. They will be lost now," one insectoid general hissed. "No one ever chooses the correct path," said another. But Sarah did not hesitate. She studied the walls, spotted a faint line of dust that suggested airflow, and pointed left. "This way. Air means exit." The team followed without argument. From the council chamber, the aliens were stunned. "How did she know that? That is impossible." Inside, the traps grew deadlier. A pit of fire opened suddenly before them. Jets of plasma burst from hidden slots in the walls. Yet the humans reacted with speed and precision. One leapt across, another threw a rope, and within seconds, they were all on the other side. To the humans, it was teamwork. To the aliens, it was madness. The holograms came next, terrifying monsters with claws the size of swords and faces twisted with rage. The illusions roared so loudly the sound vibrated through the walls. Most species fell into panic when these illusions appeared, slashing blindly at shadows. The humans. They laughed. "Ugly things, aren't they?" one soldier muttered. "Seen worse back home," another replied with a smirk. Sarah raised her rifle and fired directly at the illusion generator hidden in the ceiling. Sparks showered the corridor, and the monsters vanished instantly. The alien audience gasped. Very few challengers had ever realized the beasts were illusions. Even fewer had thought to attack the source. "They are dismantling our masterpiece," one counselor whispered nervously. But the test was far from over. The labyrinth activated its deadliest guardian, a towering machine called the Iron Warden. Its body was covered in sharp armor plates, and its arms were spinning blades of energy. Red lights glowed where its eyes should have been. The Warden had ended thousands of challengers before. It was unstoppable. The Iron Warden roared and charged forward, the floor shaking under its weight. The alien crowd cheered. Now the humans will know fear. But once again, the humans surprised them. Instead of running, they spread out calmly, moving with practiced precision. "Left flank, distracted," Sarah ordered. "On it." Two soldiers darted to the sides, firing small but accurate shots at the machine's sensors. The Warden roared again and swung its massive blade arms toward them. Sparks lit the corridor. Meanwhile, another soldier dropped to one knee, pulling a small device from his pack. It was a shaped charge, primitive by galactic standards, yet brutally effective. "Planting charge," he shouted. The Warden advanced, crushing the floor with its weight. Just as it raised its blades for a killing strike, Sarah and her squad baited it forward. The machine stepped exactly where they wanted it to. "Now!" The soldier slammed the charge into the floor and triggered it. The explosion ripped through the machine's armored legs. The Iron Warden staggered, its massive body crashing against the steel walls. Sparks and fire erupted from its chest. With one final screech, it collapsed into a pile of burning metal. The arena fell silent. The aliens stared in disbelief. Armies had spent weeks fighting that machine, and most had failed. The humans had destroyed it in less than 10 minutes. One counselor's voice trembled as he spoke. They are treating this as a game." Another growled in frustration. "It is impossible. This test is perfect. It was designed to crush even the strongest minds." And yet the humans kept moving, calm as ever. Inside the labyrinth, Sarah gave her team a nod. "Good work. Let's keep moving. Lunch isn't going to wait for us." The team chuckled and advanced deeper into the maze. From above, some aliens laughed nervously. Others whispered in fear. None of them could understand what they were seeing. The labyrinth was supposed to break spirits. But these humans seemed to grow stronger with every step. And when the last wall of the first stage opened, revealing the way into the second challenge, Sarah Hayes turned back once and looked up at the glowing observation deck. She knew the galaxy was watching. She gave a small smile. The council chamber grew cold. For the first time, the aliens realized the truth: the humans weren't surviving the labyrinth. They were conquering it. And they had only just begun. When the humans cleared the labyrinth, the council hall was silent. The first stage had swallowed thousands over the centuries. Yet the humans had finished it in hours. Many alien leaders were uneasy, but they comforted themselves with one thought: the battlefield will destroy them. The second stage was famous across the stars. It was not just a test of survival. It was a war zone designed to consume entire armies. Robotic legions marched endlessly within its shifting planes. Energy cannons rained fire from above. The battlefield had one rule: fight, or die. No single squad had ever lasted more than a few days here. Entire divisions had fallen. The gates opened. The humans stepped forward. The ground ahead stretched into a vast metallic plain, broken with craters and smoking ruins. Towers of steel rose like jagged teeth. Across the horizon, shapes moved hundreds, then thousands of robotic soldiers, their eyes glowing red. Their weapons charged with a low hum. The alien crowd stirred with excitement. This is it. They cannot win against numbers this large. They are only 6 against thousands. From the observation deck, the arbiter lifted his staff. His voice thundered across the arena. Stage 2, the battlefield begins. A horn echoed. The robots surged forward like a black tide, weapons firing beams of energy that scorched the ground. The humans did not panic. Cover and fire! Captain Sarah Hayes shouted. The team dashed into a crater, taking cover as blasts rained down. 2 soldiers returned fire, their rifles sharp and precise. Every shot found its target. Robots fell in sparks and smoke. But there were too many. The crowd leaned forward, ready to see the humans overwhelmed. Yet what happened next froze them in disbelief. The humans changed tactics. They moved as if they had trained for years in this very battlefield. One soldier tossed smoke grenades, blinding the enemy sensors. Another hacked into a tower's control panel, turning its cannons against the robotic army. In minutes, the field was chaos, but chaos that favored the humans. Push forward, Sarah ordered. They did not fight like others. Aliens usually formed rigid lines and tried to hold ground. Humans were different. They improvised. They adapted. They played. They darted through ruins, laying traps and ambushes. They attacked from angles the machines could not predict. Where another species would fight desperately, the humans fought like hunters enjoying the chase. From above, the alien leaders murmured nervously. They move too freely. It's like they know the battlefield better than we do. No, it's worse. They are enjoying it. As if to prove the point, one human soldier laughed while reloading. Feels just like paintball back home, he shouted. The aliens were horrified. This was supposed to be terror. To humans, it was sport. Hours passed. Thousands of machines lay in ruins, their smoking parts littering the ground. The humans pressed deeper into enemy lines. Their movements were smooth, their teamwork flawless. They never wasted energy, never wasted bullets. The battlefield adapted. The ground trembled as massive war machines rose from the earth, giants of steel with cannons mounted on their shoulders. The alien crowd roared with approval. Now they will die. But the humans did not flinch. Sarah gave quick commands. Split and distract. Aim for the joints. 2 soldiers drew the machine's fire, dodging blasts that tore the earth apart. Another soldier climbed a ruined tower, sniping weak points with perfect accuracy. Within minutes, the giants collapsed, crashing into the ruins like broken mountains. The counselors sat frozen. They destroyed them like nothing, whispered one. Impossible. No one has ever. Before he could finish, the battlefield threw its final weapon. A massive storm swept across the plain. Lightning bolts of raw energy rained from the sky, striking indiscriminately. The ground itself cracked open, spewing fire. This storm had ended every challenger before. The humans gathered quickly. Their suits sparked from near hits, but their leader raised her voice above the chaos. Stay close. Move with the storm, not against it. While others would panic, the humans moved in rhythm with the destruction. They ran when the ground split, rolled when lightning struck, and leapt from rock to rock as though the storm was part of their training. The audience could not believe their eyes. They treat the storm like a dance. Finally, after hours of battle, the horn sounded again. The robotic army shut down. The storm faded. Smoke covered the plain. And through it, the humans emerged bruised, tired, but alive. Victorious. The battlefield, which had devoured entire armies, now lay silent beneath their boots. The council chamber was deathly quiet. No one clapped. No one cheered. For the first time, the aliens did not mock. They feared. Captain Sarah looked up at the observation deck. Her voice carried through the silence. Stage 2 cleared. What's next? The aliens exchanged uneasy glances. The battlefield was meant to destroy hope. Instead, it had revealed something terrifying. Humans did not just survive war. They thrived in it. And the galaxy began to wonder, if 6 humans could do this, what would happen if all of humanity entered the field? The battlefield went quiet. Smoke and burning metal covered the ground. The humans stood victorious, their breath steady, their bodies scratched but not broken. Above, the Galactic Council sat in silence. For the first time in centuries, they were afraid. The labyrinth had failed. The battlefield had failed. Still, the council comforted themselves with one final thought. The mind test will crush them. It always does. The third stage of the ultimate military test was not physical. It was mental. Strong bodies could march through fire, but weak minds shattered under pressure. This stage was called the trial of the mind, and it had destroyed more challengers than all the other stages combined. When the humans stepped into the chamber, the air itself seemed heavy. The room was empty, no traps, no weapons, no machines. Just a white, endless space. The aliens leaned forward. Now they will break. This test digs into the deepest fears. No one can hide. The walls shimmered. Suddenly, each human stood alone, cut off from their team. The trial had begun. Sarah's trial. Captain Sarah Hayes found herself standing in a ruined city. Fire burned around her. The sky was dark, filled with the cries of people begging for help. She saw human civilians trapped beneath rubble, their faces pale with terror. The trial whispered in her ear, "You failed them. You could not protect your people." Sarah's knees shook. She wanted to believe it. But she clenched her fists. "No," she growled. "Humans never stop trying. We fight until the last breath." She ran into the fire, pulling the illusions out of the rubble. The city faded. The trial could not break her. Marcus's trial. Marcus, the heavy gunner, stood in darkness. Shapes moved all around him, monsters from childhood nightmares, shadows with claws and fangs. The trial whispered, "You are small. You are weak. Alone, you are nothing." Marcus laughed. "Alone? Maybe. But I've never been alone. My team has my back." He charged the shadows with fearless energy. The darkness cracked apart, and light returned. Elena's trial. Elena, the sniper, appeared in a field of endless graves. Names carved in stone stretched beyond the horizon. She recognized some friends, family, fellow soldiers. The trial whispered, "Everyone you love will die. You cannot save them." Tears burned her eyes, but she shook her head. Maybe I can't save everyone. But that doesn't mean I stop. I keep going for them. She saluted the graves and walked forward. The illusions crumbled like dust. The council watched in shock. One by one, the humans faced their deepest fears and refused to fall. Other species screamed, cried, or begged when the trial touched their minds. The humans did something different. They argued. They fought back. They laughed at the nightmare itself. The final trick. The trial grew desperate. It united their fears into one last illusion. The humans suddenly stood together again, but now they faced an enemy that looked exactly like themselves, dark reflections, twisted and cruel. The aliens leaned forward eagerly. Yes, now they will destroy each other. But the humans only smiled. Sarah lifted her weapon and aimed at her shadow. Looks like a warm-up drill. Let's go, team. They fought their own fears like they fought everything else together. Side by side, they took down the twisted doubles. Bullets tore through shadows, blades cut illusions apart, and laughter echoed as the fakes screamed and vanished. In minutes, the chamber was empty again. The illusions were gone. The humans stood victorious. Above, the council chamber shook with disbelief. This is impossible. No species has ever passed the trial of the mind in one attempt. They should have been broken. Why are they so strong? The arbiter, who had seen centuries of challenges, spoke in a low voice. Because they are human. They turn fear into fire. The white chamber dissolved. The humans stood once again at the center of the arena. Their faces were calm. Their bodies relaxed. They looked as though they had just woken from a nap, not faced their greatest terrors. Sarah raised her head, her voice carrying through the silence. Is that all you've got? Gasps filled the council hall. Never before had a challenger mocked the trial. Never before had a team walked out without trembling. The council realized a truth that chilled them: if humans could resist the labyrinth, the battlefield, and even the deepest fears of the mind, then nothing could stop them. The arbiter lowered his staff slowly. He understood what the others refused to admit. The galaxy had built the ultimate test to prove superiority. Instead, they had revealed a predator far greater than themselves. And the humans were only getting started. The trial of the mind was over. The humans had walked out calm, steady, and smiling, while the alien council sat frozen in disbelief. For centuries, the galaxy had trusted the ultimate military test as the measure of true strength. No one had ever come close to finishing it. Until now. The first stage, the labyrinth, had been conquered in hours. The battlefield, which had swallowed armies, had been cleared in a single day. The mind trial, feared above all others, had not even made them sweat. And there was still one stage left. The arbiter rose from his high throne. His voice echoed through the vast chamber. Humans of Earth, you have passed the stages that no other species has completed. Now you will face the final challenge, the gauntlet. The audience of alien leaders roared. Some were eager. Some were terrified. Everyone leaned forward to see the ending. The gauntlet. The gates opened once more. Beyond them stretched a brutal arena, walls lined with energy cannons, floors that shifted like traps, and waves of machines rising from the ground. Overhead, drones circled like vultures. The gauntlet was not a single test. It was all of them combined. As the humans stepped inside, the entire chamber rumbled. Cannons opened fire, traps snapped shut, and machines surged forward in a tide of steel. The gauntlet was pure chaos. From the council hall, the voices of alien generals thundered. Now we will see their end. No one can survive this storm. But the humans did not panic. Sarah Hayes raised her hand. Same plan as always, watch each other's backs. The team spread out. Blades slashed, guns fired, and explosions lit the arena. Traps snapped, but humans dodged with perfect timing. Cannons rained fire, but humans turned the battlefield itself into cover. To the galaxy, it looked impossible. To the humans, it looked familiar. Reminds me of boot camp, Marcus shouted as he tore through a machine with a heavy blast. Boot camp was harder, Elena smirked, dropping drones one by one with her rifle. They weren't just fighting to survive. They were fighting like this was practice. Like the galaxy's greatest weapon was just another drill. The unstoppable push. Hours passed. The gauntlet threw everything it had: machines, storms, illusions, collapsing floors. But nothing worked. The humans adapted faster than the test could change. At one point, the walls closed in, spiked with blades. The humans used the trap against itself, luring the machines inside before escaping at the last second. When the walls slammed shut, hundreds of enemies were crushed in their place. At another moment, the drones swarmed thick as locusts. Elena calmly switched to rapid fire, shooting them down in a rhythm that looked almost like art. Step by step, the humans advanced. Not broken. Not even slowed. The Council's fear. On the observation deck, panic spread. This cannot be real. They are rewriting the test itself. If 6 humans can do this, what will happen if Earth sends an army? The Arbiter gripped his staff tightly. For the first time in his long life, he felt fear. Not of the humans failing, but of what would happen when they succeeded. The end of the test. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the gauntlet grew quiet. The last machine fell smoking to the floor. The last cannon went silent. The ground stopped shaking. The humans stood in the center of the arena, surrounded by wreckage. Their armor was scorched, their faces streaked with sweat, but their eyes were calm. Sarah looked up toward the observation deck. That's it? We're done. The Arbiter could hardly breathe. His voice cracked as he declared. By the laws of the Council, you have completed the ultimate military test. The Council chamber erupted not with cheers, but with gasps and fearful whispers. No one had ever expected to hear those words. The humans had done it. They had finished what no other species in the galaxy could even dream of completing. Before lunch, the humans regrouped, checking their gear. One soldier stretched his arms and laughed. Not bad. But I'm starving. Yeah, Marcus agreed. Feels like we missed breakfast. Sarah chuckled. Let's get lunch. Their voices carried through the arena, simple and casual, as though they had just gone for a morning jog instead of facing the deadliest challenge ever built. The alien counselors stared down in horror. To them, this had been the test of the century. To the humans, it had been a warm-up, something to finish before a meal. The galaxy finally understood. Humans were not just survivors. They were not just soldiers. They were something far more dangerous. They were the species that laughed at nightmares. The species that thrived in war. The species that conquered the impossible, before lunch.